Hello everyone, today we officially start the explanation of the HCIA Cloud Computing course. So, what about cloud computing technology? Actually, we've been subtly influenced by it in our daily lives for quite a long time. For example, whether it's ride-hailing, booking hotels, or even the more practical aspects of digital transformation in businesses, all these rely on the support of cloud technology. Today's course will mainly focus on this. We'll introduce the basic concepts of cloud computing, its main features, and service models. First, let's get a brief understanding of what cloud computing is, which will help us with our future learning. Now let's take a look at what's next. Based on the basic concept of calculation, let me introduce you to some main things about budget, features, and service models. Let's first briefly understand what cloud computing is, so that it will be easier for us to learn later. Let's take a look at it next. In our country, in fact, the concept of computing did not exist at the beginning. When cloud computing was first invented, right? Who was the first to come up with it? It should have been called IT at the beginning. In fact, we started with IT, right? One of the fastest growing fields in recent decades is computing, which is actually in the IT field. In recent years, or even in the past decade, it has been the fastest growing technology. So what exactly is cloud computing? What are its service models? Or what does it actually do? We often hear about this technology, but some of you might not be very familiar with it. Next, let's take a look at what we will mainly learn in this course. First of all, we will learn about cloud computing. The basic value is that everyone needs to understand why we should use cloud computing and what are its benefits compared to traditional ones. What are the advantages of traditional virtualization in the field of operation and maintenance or traditional servers? The second one is ours. The three main services of cloud computing and its deployment models. There's quite a bit of content here and we will gradually cover each of these topics. The three main services include IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. As for the deployment models, they consist of three types: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Let's talk about IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. And the deployment models include three types: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. We will also learn about some commonly used vendors and technologies. Since this is a Huawei course, we will take Huawei Cloud as an example to analyze key technologies in cloud computing, such as virtualization and containers. Finally, we can use cases to understand some of the practical applications of our pre-computing. How can we use cloud computing to change our world? Okay, then let's take a look. Next, we will mainly cover the following points. First, we will introduce the trends in IT development. So let's start with the trends in IT. Secondly, we will provide an overview of cloud computing, including mainstream vendors and representative technologies. So why do we start with IT? In fact, cloud computing is considered a part of IT. But it's no longer considered the traditional IT industry. It's more like a broken traditional industry now. So first, let's introduce what IT is, including some of the issues that traditional IT is currently facing. Next, we'll discuss some basic concepts of cloud computing, such as what cloud computing is, what aspects it includes, and what technologies are involved. This is the main content we will learn in the first phase. Yes. So first, let's take a look at what does traditional IT, or the IT we encounter in our daily lives, actually encompass. First, let's take a look at what IT really means. The term itself refers to the summary of information processing, which includes various components such as software, hardware, communication, and the related services that come with them. Here, actually, the hardware and software, the software is actually some specific businesses that we deploy in the server, such as external services, our database type, and some other middleware. In addition to that, of course, the software you use on your phone or computer for personal use is also included. That's software, too. Secondly, let's talk about hardware. In the server domain, the key components are primarily the CPU, memory, disks, and network. The network card is also an important part of the hardware, as it plays a role in networking. The network card includes other components as well. Similar to other components, for example, in terms of disks, there are things like disk array cards and disk array cabinets, as well as some other related equipment. Interfaces and connection cables and so on are part of the hardware and software. This actually represents some of the traditional aspects of the IT industry, including some commonly used or frequently maintained facilities in the operation and maintenance industry, as well as communications and other related services, are some of the contents that will definitely be involved in our traditional IT industry. So what are the contents here actually targeting? Let's compare it with cloud computing. What can cloud computing do for our traditional services? First of all, maybe 10 or 20 years ago, we were doing this on the streets of the city, right? When we usually take a taxi, we typically just wave our hand to hail a cab, right? That's how it usually goes. Staying at a hotel is the same. When you arrive at the hotel, what happens next? At the front desk, you would book a room. This includes some telecommunications, voice services. Ding voice. Of course, 10 or 20 years ago, we communicated through the phone, and because there were mobile phones at that time, we communicated through the phone, including in our shopping malls, right? After buying things, we needed to do the same, right? Finally, we would check out with the cashier. And now, let's come back to the present. 20 years ago, as I just mentioned, we didn't have to hail a cab at all, right? We just tap on an app on our phone, and a car arrives. Booking a hotel is the same. It's just a one-click reservation on our phones. As for telecommunications voice services, 10 or 20 years ago, what did we have? Well, actually, even 10 years ago, it wasn't possible. 20 years ago, we could only communicate by making phone calls. But starting from 10 years ago, what emerged? Various communication software appeared, so you no longer need to make phone calls. As long as we have internet access, we can communicate. One-on-one, or one-to-many, or many-to-many at any time. Shopping is the same. In the past, we could only go to the mall, right? After buying something, well, we would check out. But now, we can actually shop without leaving our homes. We can buy things directly. Everything around you can be delivered right to your door. This is actually a significant change in our lives, whether it's in the taxi industry, hotels, or telecommunications. The sales and retail industries have actually undergone tremendous changes. The credit for this really goes to cloud computing. It has played an indispensable role. And here, besides that, this is a fundamental impact of cloud computing on our lives. From here, everyone can get an understanding, right? It has completely transformed the traditional IT industry. We can't say it's completely off track. We can only say it's undergone a complete transformation. So here we have the core of our IT, right? What is it? This is our currently a traditional approach. IT architecture basically consists of common hardware and software, right? It's made up of facilities, data centers, server network hardware, desktop computers, and so on. But now, when it comes to cloud services, our content has also undergone some significant changes. For example, the three on the right are the three different types we will talk about later. Service models, 3 different service models. On the left, there are also some specific services, and you can see what kinds of businesses can be used. You can get a brief understanding of this, and later on, we will continue to expand on these topics in our course. So, cloud computing, this technology, has actually penetrated into various aspects of our lives and industries. Yes, and also, yes, that's right, the traditional IT operations and maintenance industry has been greatly impacted. For example, it has significantly reduced the number of physical servers. With fewer physical servers in small businesses, they have started to rent some voice services. Have started to implement proactive voice services. This way, it can reduce some of this. It can reduce some of the resource consumption, right? And it can also allow us to spend more time maintaining our specific business operations. This is actually one of the basic characteristics of cloud computing. So we'll stop here for today. If anyone wants to learn about Huawei certification technology or wants to get Huawei certification question banks, feel free to message me privately, or you can leave a comment below the video for technical discussions. Everyone can discuss this more. Hey, the impact of cloud computing on our lives can be directly exchanged in the discussion area. So we'll stop here for today, everyone.